Dad had prostate cancer. He'd been diagnosed 6 years before he finally passed away. St Barnabas came in to say, well, look, we could offer, some medical advice to see how we can alleviate pain, how we can control those symptoms, and also, as much as anything, to give my mum a rest from caring for him, because she was also 89 at the time. Although he was reticent to leave home, once he got here, he revelled in it. He was a cheeky fella, so he quite liked all the attention that he was being given by the nurses. He got to know everybody on first name terms, and both professionally and personally, the people here were absolutely incredible. The staff, the doctors, and of course, the nurses who see him every day. Absolutely wonderful at administering the medication, but also, became his friends. It was just the perfect place to come. It was the perfect place for him to be looked after. Dad first came to St Barnabas 2 weeks before his 90th birthday. He held my hand and he said, David, just get me through to my 90th, that'll do me. And what a 90th he had. All the nurses had decided that they were going to come and see him and brought him a cake and sang happy birthday to him. And Mum and the rest of the family gave him all his cards, and we took videos and we took photographs that will be cherished for the rest of all of our lives. He was so thrilled. Actually, is one of the days that I will remember for the rest of my life. Probably the best birthday I've ever seen him have. The day after his 90th birthday, Dad came home. They all gave him a kiss and off he went. Everybody bent over backwards and made sure that he could do his last wish, really, which was to stay at home and be surrounded by the people he loved until he finally passed away. He left in a much, much better condition than he'd arrived. In fact, he lived another 10 weeks. The hospice at home team came round, 2 nurses at a time, 3 times a day, and was cared for almost round the clock. Incredible care, love, support, not only for Dad, but also for my mum, because obviously it took a lot of the weight off her shoulders in terms of the responsibility for just the everyday looking after that he needed. Not only did we get to say the things that we wanted to say and we needed to say to Dad, he got exactly the same opportunity. And to be honest, that was largely due to the medical expertise of the people at the hospice, such that he was lucid. He was Dad. That was just so wonderful to experience in the time that he had left. We sat with him and we both held his hand and stroked his face. Mum, in fact, knowing that he was a serviceman for 40 years, for his entire career, and she said, I think he's gone on his last posting now. We knew that he'd passed so peacefully, we couldn't have had a better farewell to my lovely Dad. In between Dad passing away and his funeral, my mum had a fall. The hospital, because Mum was elderly, did some blood tests, and it was discovered completely out of the blue for us that she had advanced lung and liver cancer. Mum and I were the only people at Dad's funeral who knew that Mum was very ill as well. Mum was taken back into the arms of the hospice. They knew her so well by then. They'd seen her on and off for the last 8-9 months with Dad. They were like her friends, really like her friends. They were her friends. She was a woman of great faith, Mum, so she was of the belief that she was going to go and join Dad. Stephen and the chaplaincy service here were all unbelievably kind and attentive and, helped her with her incredible faith all the way through to the last. On the day that Mum passed away, of course I was by her side. Mum was quiet, peaceful, serene, beautiful. I just simply held her hand until it was clear that she'd gone back to see Dad. I can't express my gratitude to the people here who saw her on her way. The extraordinary thing about St Barnabas for me was the level of care that I was shown. both during the time that Mum and Dad were poorly, but even more so afterwards. It's made very clear to you that you're always welcome back, that you'll be supported through counselling or just through having the odd phone call and a chat, or just being allowed to come in and sit in the canteen and have one of their delicious sandwiches. St Barnabas has really become the place where we remember Mum and Dad. This is it for us, and it seems so much more appropriate that the place where they experience so much love and happiness and kindness is the place that we come back to feel that, to be surrounded by that. It's a really reassuring, peaceful and uplifting place to be.